Oh my god, Barry, you're wearing the same clothes as in the last book review. Yes, it's because I just finished that one 2 minutes ago. Movie magic. Hello lovely people, how are you today? Here I am with another book review for you today. Today's book review is A Study in Scarlet by Arthur Conan Doyle.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
My edition is a Penguin Classics edition. It is 162 pages long. It is split into 2 parts. Each part has 7 chapters. This is, of course, the first Sherlock Holmes story. The novel begins with the meeting of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson. But Sherlock doesn't have enough money to afford lodgings of his own, so Dr. Watson and Sherlock decide to put the money together and buy a flat at 221B Baker Street. We then find out that Mr. Sherlock Holmes is actually a consulting detective. Although Sherlock Holmes is a master in the science of deduction, Dr. Watson is shocked that he has absolutely no knowledge of some basic facts, such as the solar system. Dr. Watson makes a list of things that come across as common knowledge, but that Sherlock just doesn't seem to know about. And if you'll allow me, I'll just read from some of this list. 1. Knowledge of literature, nil. 2. Knowledge of philosophy, nil. 3. Knowledge of astronomy, nil. 4. Knowledge of politics, feeble. 5. Knowledge of botany, variable. Well up in belladonna, opium and poisons generally, knows nothing of practical gardening. 6. Knowledge of geology, practical but limited. Tells at a glance different soils from each other. After walks has shown me splashes upon his trousers and told me by their colour and consistence in what part of London he had received them. The list is 12 points long, but you'll have to read the novel to find them out. So the basic plot is, one day Holmes receives a note stating that there has been a murder in London. Holmes and Watson decide to go to the place of the murder, which is a creepy old house in South London. Upon their entrance, they are met with Dr. Gregson and Dr. Lestrade, 2 detectives from Scotland Yard. In the house, Holmes and Watson enter a room, and they see that there is a man face down on the floor, dead. However, he has no wounds upon his body. On the wall, scrawled into the plaster, there is the German word Rache. Everyone is mystified of how a man could die, but yet have no wounds. And that is where the novel starts. Now, I did say that this novel was in 2 halves. The first part is, Holmes and Watson, they try to decipher how the man died and whatnot. And then the second part happens. Now, how do I describe the second part? It's basically a Wild West Mormon love affair. Okay, let that sink in. Seriously. Halfway through the novel, it goes to America, in which we find 2 travellers in the Wild West who are saved by Mormons. What? And of course you think, what, is the story finished? Is that it? Did it just end? Is this another story? The 50-page Mormon love affair that happens in the Wild West does, strangely, have to do with the case. Arthur Conan Doyle, I know it's the first Sherlock Holmes novel, but what the hell was that? It just completely, it took the pace of the novel and just broke it over its knee. It almost ruined it. I was just sitting there, just reading this. Like, it was like a fucking John Wayne movie. It was like, what has happened to this novel? And then, of course, at the end, it goes back to London, but it's like, what is that? I actually just decided to look through some of the reviews on GOODREADS, and most of the people are like, why is there an episode of Big Love happening in the middle of this novel? But of course, the Wild West Mormon love affair escapade does, eventually, make sense in the end. And, it's good enough. It's not, but, it's still, I can see why it's there, and I appreciate why it's there, but I just don't think it should be there. So, in the end, I decided to give this A Study in Scarlet by Arthur Conan Doyle 4 out of 5 stars. It, of course, lost that 1 star because of the Mormon Wild West love affair, and I never knew I'd mentioned those words in that succession in a video before, and not so many times either. Mormon Wild West love affair. Hopefully that'll be the last time I'll ever have used those words. Of course, if you want me to read any other classics or any other books of this sort, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I will eventually try to get around to them soon. And until next time, lovely people, bye!